Right on, you guys. Thanks so much, Matthew, as always, and to all the other speakers. I appreciate, and everyone that's attending. You guys, thanks for taking time out of your business to work on it instead of in it. Today, we're going to talk about KPIs. Now, the brain-numbing slide. This is essentially the periodic table for digital marketing. And this is enough to give anyone a headache. I get that. In the digital space, in our world, when we are attempting to help take a business and make them an option for the services they want to sell in the city they want to sell it, these are some of the elements to get there. Everybody cannot do everything all at one time until you've earned the right to do so. There is a big difference between getting started, working on getting to the point where you are an option, and then being able to maximize and start looking at something like ROI. What Matthew just said, 100% agree with being able to determine an ROI for the investments. The challenge is the majority of businesses have a period of time when they first get started and they're trying to just get on the map where you're spending money with no ROI. That's a reality. If there's any agency that tells you any difference, it's not truthful. The only way you could throw $1 in and get $5 out is if you had zero competition to have an urgent or an immediate ROI when it comes to digital marketing. There's a piece of this as business owners that we have to earn because there's competition who's already done things, put assets in place, put solutions in place, put digital elements in place to widen their footprint, where they are an option on page 1 of Google. They are an option in a social environment. They are an option to their existing database, and you've got to earn your right to get there. That's the hardest part. Now, I'm not going to go through all these KPIs. If you guys want access to this, text web to the 713-856-1853. And this is in the portal where all the free tools are. Ideally, you want to have to understand what's on that periodic table. But for now, 99% of dealers probably on this call, that periodic table means nothing. Because the only thing that matters when you're first getting going in this and when you're at the gate trying to build a business is you guys understanding, what do I want to sell? And I'm gonna keep repeating it until it's repetition and you can spit it off. What do I want to sell? Where do I want to sell it? Am I an option on page 1 of Google? Do I look the best when somebody gets there? And is it easy to connect with me any day, anytime, regardless of our system or tool? Consumer preference. So knowing that's critical, we're going to narrow down those KPIs and we're going to just go on to the next slide and go through just the ones that are critical right now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What do you want to sell? So we're going to try and help make this easy. We've got a phase 1, this is just phase 1, key phrase, list that is inside the free tools area. You guys have access to that. Again, text web to the number, go download that list. So remember, as I said last week, your website is a store, just like a grocery store. Every one of these services that you want to sell has to be an option in the store. We have to have something for it. That means a page of content. And that content can be as small or as big as you can possibly make it. A page of content might be all text, might include a video, plus some images, plus a call to action, plus before and after pictures, plus a promotional graphic. The more that's included, the better positioned that single product or service is in your store, the higher the chance of that service or product becoming an option on page 1 of Google. So download this list, do an audit, say, this is my website today. This is the list of services that I want to sell, just the initial services. We're not getting into anything complex here. Are they even in the store? So take this list, download it, go check it. What's on my website today? What's missing? Those are the items that you want to be in your store but are not currently there. Therefore, you cannot sell something that does not exist. We're not talking about ROI on a zero factor. Remember, 100% of nothing is nothing. If you go after all of Houston, as Matthew said, and you can't rank for that, it's zero opportunity regardless of the size of industry. He's 100% right, going down to a smaller niche community. Stay away from zip codes, but community or city or town. All right, next one. narrowing that list of KPIs into the simplicity of where are you right now? Are you sitting in the basics? Do you only have a template website, maybe Facebook? You used to do a lot of networking. You're trying to use email, text, and calls to be able to generate business. That is the entry point. That's when you're first getting started in your business, and it's going to produce less leads and opportunities. So the answer to are you an option is going to be much smaller because it's only related to the people who are already in your database, the people who are already in your network. That's how a business starts. You start with the people who already know you. So you have a much smaller piece of that puzzle. The total number of inbound leads are smaller, and you still have to equate for the big red arrow on the right, bounce rate. Why do people leave? What scares consumers away? What scares referrals away? Next category, you're evolving. Your business is growing. So we're still not measuring ROI. Not yet. We're still working on building a digital footprint, building the infrastructure, and setting ourselves up to be an option for something somewhere. We need the answer to that to be yes. So the next category, you start to move out of a template. You start customizing, oh, not yet, almost. You start, I'm gonna stay here for a minute. You start customizing your brand, your message. Matt talks about this all the time. Don't taste like chicken. Be something different. You've got to customize your brand. So you move from a template. You move from, I've been in business 25 years. We're family owned and operated, and we have great customer service, right? That's taste like chicken. Everyone starts there. That's fine. But we need to evolve. So we start customizing. We start building a business page. We start writing content. Content is equal to a product in the store. No product in the store, can't sell something that doesn't exist. We start creating content. Search engine optimization is the process of making that page popular enough to be in the top 10 of whatever the competition is on page 1 of Google. Now you are an option. Once you are on page 1 of Google, and that should be done in phase 2, you should start working on low competition phrases, low competition geography areas or geospaces, smaller areas. Remember, we're trying to get something out of something in the shortest amount of time. You guys need to focus on how do you convert your time to cash. That means we need to start smaller so that we can make progress, then make some money and do it again. Do more of what works. The next phase, we start working on online scheduling, local listings, social media, reviews, reputation, blogging. Now you are an option on page 1 of Google for more than one phrase. So let's say you're on page 1 of Google and the page, phrase, and location is ductless AC installation in Cypress, Texas. You're on page 1 of Google. Now you get the option to start calculating KPIs, conversion ratios, bounce rates, and so forth. The reality from a marketing standpoint, measuring KPIs doesn't matter if you're not an option because there's not a lot to measure other than what was your open rate on your email, what was your conversion rate, how many people clicked through, what was your open rate on your text. The number of KPIs you have when you have limited activity is really small. Just remember this, the greater the activity, the greater the activity. The less activity, the less activity. You have less to measure if you're doing less. So, doing more of what works, figuring out what's not working and reallocate it. As Matt said, figure out where to cut the fat so you can focus on high leverage activities that are income generating activities. Focus on things that are permanent assets in your business that produce compounding results. And always have a mindset of what's next. What we want is we want you to have the need to measure KPIs. And it takes a little bit of work to get there. So with the next one, I'm going to end on this. There are other KPIs that are really important. In my world, Matthew just said he wanted to know what Kathy Marshall's address was because he wants to send her some kolaches. Jasmine, for one of my PMs, just said that one of her clients mailed her a book that says you are special. One of my other RMs just got mailed an entire gift basket from a client. How many hugs have you given? How many calls have you made for family? How many times have you painted your wife's toes? It's time to go to the spa. We can't go. We can do it at home. Ben, we know this well, right? How many times have you called mom? How many video games have you played with your family? How many movies have you watched curled up? I know we're at home, and I know that it's easy to get caught up in all this stuff, and creating and building a business, it takes a tremendous amount of work, and it takes a tremendous amount of everything that we have inside us to actually make progress and move to the next. But don't forget, this is the best opportunity you have to plant something, build something, grow something, make something, watch something, share something with the people that are closest to you. So don't spend all day, every day up in this office just trying to take care of business.